These books are making me wish I was a teenager again because how cute! I didn't want to be a hater immediately, but on page 4, this last one. Hi everyone, it's me. Welcome to today's video. We are doing a little bit of a readathon today. I don't know how seriously I'm gonna take this readathon yet as of right now, but we're gonna have a fun summer reading day today because it's actually the eve of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3 release, which, you know, is a show that I'm sure many of you already know of and most of you have probably already watched, but Season 3 is coming out tomorrow. And although it's a show that is definitely too young for me at this point, it's just something I watch, I think, because everyone else watches it. And if there's something about me, I feel FOMO quite deeply. And so, of course, when The Summer I Turned Pretty started gaining popularity and I started seeing it everywhere, of course I had to join in. So it's kind of just like a little guilty pleasure show that I generally like put on in the background while I'm doing work and stuff, but Season 3 is coming out tomorrow. And so I thought it'd be fitting to binge read the books. So yes, the show is based on a trilogy. I'm assuming because there are 3 seasons to the show that each season of the show follows one book in the trilogy. And I thought we would just, you know, read these together today. Have a nice fun summer day of reading. I can't get these books out of this box. Hold on. Why are box sets so difficult? Okay, I got it. So we have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. We have It's Not Summer Without You, also by Jenny Han, of course. And of course, We'll Always Have Summer. This is the third one. These books are making me wish I was a teenager again because how cute! They remind me of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants books in a way. Just kind of like the summer teen vibe aesthetic. And the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants is definitely a series that was like in prime during my teenage years. So yeah, let's, I don't know, live like a teenager today. As for these books, I'm not sure what to expect. I'm not 100% sure if I will love these books, but I am just so curious because I do know a lot of people have read these books. And again, like I'm definitely, I don't know, more than a decade too late, but I feel like I just have to. I feel like it's something that I missed out on, and I feel like I could tackle these all today. They're pretty thin books. I think they're all under 300 pages, and I'm assuming they're quite easy to read. Oh yeah, and the font is massive. For reference, that's how big the font is. So yeah, I'm gonna read through these today, and I'm gonna figure out if I am team, what are the team names called? Team Jelly or Team Bonrad? What is the Belly Conrad ship name? Currently unsure. But what I will say is that from watching the show only, I am currently a Team Conrad, okay? But we'll see how I feel after reading through these books. I'm gonna start with The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's also quite a hot day today, so in spirit of this being a summer reading vlog, I feel like I should go outside at some point today, but we're also in the middle of a heat wave. The air quality in Toronto is also currently at like, you know, an all-time high, meaning like the air quality is not good. So we'll see. We'll see how it feels outside. But we're just gonna start this first book in here for now, and then we'll venture out when the time comes. Okay, hold on. Immediately, I'm on page 4, and I want to read these books for just kind of a silly, fun, good time today, right? I don't mean to be a hater. I didn't want to be a hater immediately, but on page 4, okay, we're currently already setting up the love triangle. It's very clear from page 2. There are comments already made by everyone's mothers about Belly was destined for the boys, like both Jeremiah and Conrad, and I'm just finding it very strange because I remember in the show, I remember Susanna, like the brothers, like the boys' mom, I remember her being very like supportive of Belly and Conrad. at least in the beginning. Like that was just where Belly's obvious crush was. So her mom was just like shipping the two of them. But in the book, it says, Susanna told me that when I was born, she knew I was destined for one of her boys. She said it was fate. My mother, who didn't normally go for that kind of thing, said it would be perfect as long as I'd had a few lovers before I settled down. Susanna put her hands on my cheeks and said, Belly, you have my unequivocal blessing. I'd hate to lose my boys to anyone else. Specifically mentioning plural boys. I just feel like it's so weird that her mom is setting the precedent for a love triangle within her boys. Like that just feels a little odd and like a little like ugh. Like basically setting up both of your sons to fight over this girl. Oh no, a little weird. But let's keep reading. Okay, so I mean, this isn't a literary masterpiece by any means, and I don't think anyone expects that from this book. I certainly did not expect that from this book, but I did expect to enjoy reading this more than I am. Also, you guys, I just realized I never explained the premise of this series to you guys, just because I assumed everyone had heard of these by now, but just in case you haven't, it's a pretty simple premise. We follow Belly. She is a teenager. She every summer goes to this summer beach house in Cousins. That's what the place is called. And while she's there, her family stays with like their family friends. So in her family, we have her older brother, Steven, we have her mom, and we have a dad who's like not really seemingly that present. And then in the other family, the family who owns the house, we have Susanna, who's the mother of the other family. We have two sons, Conrad and Jeremiah, the subjects of our main love triangle in this series, and then their dad, who is also not present. We just have present dads are not a theme in this book. And we just follow them as they spend the summer at this beach house and just figure out their thoughts and feelings about being a teenager. The writing is very simple. Of course, it is definitely geared towards a very young audience, but I'm kind of surprised at how not nuanced the writing is. Like, it's so not descriptive. I swear the average sentence length is like 5 words, and the word I is used so many times. And I know it's first person POV, so obviously, you know, we have to use the word I, but it's just like I. Like, that's how I'm feeling as I'm reading this. For example, I'm just gonna read a few sentences. I don't think these are very like spoilery sentences, but for example, I didn't call him. Period. I put the phone back in its cradle. Period. He should be the one calling me, not the other way around. Period. He was the father, I was just the kid. Period. And anyway, dads didn't belong in the summer house. Period. Not my father and not Mr. Fisher. Period. Like, that's just how the book reads. So it's a little frustrating, the writing style, and it is frustrating being in Belly's mind. She is very much like a teenager, like a young teenager, like a preteen. She is 16 in this book, but honestly feels like 13, 14 being in her head. And also, I so far do not like any of the characters. Either they bug me or they don't really stand out to me. And at this point, I'm not really rooting for anyone except Cam, who is very much like a side character, I think. And like, as I've watched the show, I'm pretty sure Cam just kind of like, he's kind of like a main secondary character, but he's definitely not in like the main group, and that is the one character that I am actually enjoying, and I'm kind of rooting for him, even though I know he's not really gonna have the spotlight. I don't know. I wish I was enjoying this more than I am, but I'm gonna continue reading. Hopefully it gets better. What did I get out of this book? I think it honestly, it just felt weird. It felt weird to read this as an adult because this book is not spicy by any means, okay? It is, as I keep mentioning, quite a young reading YA book, but there are a few moments of like, you know, where physical attraction is obviously described, and even like the little things, like there was a scene where Belly noticed Jeremiah's abs. Just reading that made me feel a little weird. Like, I don't really want to be thinking about teenagers like that, and so it was a little uncomfortable to read certain things like that. But that's just my experience reading this book as not a teenager. I'm sure if you read this as a teenager, that would, I don't know, get you excited. I don't know. I feel like after watching the show, like for Belly, I am so team Conrad, but after reading this book, I think I'm a team Jeremiah. There was really no connection between Belly and Conrad while reading this first book, and I'm really surprised at the lack of substance between them. Like there were a few little moments maybe, but there was just so much more that happened with Jeremiah. This show, I feel like, really highlights Conrad, and the book did not. He was just kind of there as a moody, broody character, but there was nothing going on. I also think Belly as a character is just really, really frustrating. She really only thinks of herself in every single situation and just honestly thinks the world revolves around her, and it's really, really frustrating to read, and I get it. I'm like trying to remind myself that I'm reading about like a 16-year-old, and in some chapters in this book, like we flash back, so there's like 14-year-old chapters and all that. So she's very, very young, okay? But don't we want teenagers to read about characters they can look up to versus like reading about annoying teenagers that just kind of show all the bad traits of being a teenager and not the good parts? I did not really enjoy this first book, but we're gonna truck on because I made it my goal to read through all of these books today. So we're gonna pick up It's Not Summer Without You. We'll see how this goes. I still do need to go outside today as well, so we'll try to do that too. Okay, immediately, this one is so much better. Thank goodness. This second book is what I was hoping to get from the first book, like just a good YA teenage fun time. That's what we're getting with this, okay? It's overall less annoying. I think one of the main reasons, to be honest, is because we get a little bit of a dual POV in here so far. I'm wondering if it'll turn into multi-POV, but right now we have Jeremiah's POV mixed in with Belly's POV, and just having that refresher of stepping out of her head and stepping into someone else's head is really, really nice because Belly is so annoying. Oh, she's so annoying. I will say her POV is also better in this one. I think the writing overall has improved a lot. But yeah, Jeremiah's POVs I think are the stronger parts of this book. I also think that I'm enjoying this book better because there is more substance to it. And the one trick that will work with me every single time if I'm reading a book with unlikable characters that I don't care about, throw in some tragedy in there, throw in some grief, and you will have me, I wouldn't say I'm hooked to this right now, but I would say I am more invested in it now. I'm more interested in it. And yeah, I know sometimes just throwing trauma at something in a book can be, it's a cheap trick, you know? But in this case, it's working for me because it's the only thing that I'm latching onto that feels like anything that I could relate to. And it's the only thing that is giving these characters any sort of motivation to do any of the things that they're doing. So that's a good sign. I am like just about halfway through this one, but I have a couple of books that I actually want to unhaul. So I'm gonna find a little free library to deposit them in, and I want to find like a patio or something to do a little bit of reading. Hopefully it's not too hot because we are in a heat wave and there's only so much humidity I can handle without feeling like I'm dying. We'll see how it is when we go outside. It looks kind of like that nasty hot outside, if you know what I mean. And I don't have access to a pool, which would have been perfect for this little readathon. But I'm gonna clip you in 1 second because I actually also got a little pre-order of a book that just came out, and I'm so excited for this one. Oh, she's gorgeous. I did get 3 Shattered Souls by Mike Horland. I've talked about the series quite a bit, so I don't think we need another intro to the series here, but this is the 3rd book in the 5 Broken Blades trilogy. And look at that sprayed edge. I can finally complete my seed. Ooh, okay, hold on. I don't put my books onto my like big bookshelves until I've actually read them. Everything stays on my TBR cart till I've read, but I need to preview. I need to preview this, okay? Okay, there's no space. I'm gonna take this, her Radiant Curse, out temporarily for now, just to be able to squeeze this in, but oh my god, it's absolutely gorgeous. Stunning. Wow. Those are so pretty. But okay, you don't belong here yet, but that'll go back on my TBR cart for now. Okay, the other thing I did want to do, as I mentioned, is I want to drop off some books at a little free library. There are a couple more books that I decided to unhaul, and they are up here. These books that I'm unhauling, I haven't actually read, but I just don't think I will get to them realistically. I've read kind of like the first few pages of each of these, and I'm finding that the writing style just is not speaking to me. So instead of me hoarding all of these books and keeping them on my TBR cart forever and ever and ever, I always just prefer to you know, send them out into the world, let someone else give them love. All of them except one are books that I have received, not purchased by myself. So the first one I'm unhauling is The Sunblessed Prince by Lindsay Bird. This book is absolutely gorgeous. The premise of it actually sounds really wonderful. It is a queer romantasy, but there's just something about the writing style that doesn't agree with my brain, so this one is going to go. But yeah, this is an ARC that I received. So grateful for it, but I just don't think I'm gonna read it. I'm also gonna unhaul The Great When by Alan Moore. Another one that I don't think I'm gonna pick it up ever. This one, Elfie by Gregory Maguire, was actually one that I was curious to read because I do love Wicked. I never actually fully read the book Wicked. I know it's very highly different than the musical, but I was curious to see what this one was about because this follows Elphaba. Obviously, this is a prequel. I think it follows her like growing up as a kid. But again, I read the first few pages and the writing's just very like stylized in a way that does not mesh well with my brain. So I'm gonna release her to the world as well. I have finally decided to release Holly into the world. This is the one book that I actually purchased myself that I'm going to be unhauling today. I do not feel the itch at all to pick this book up. And I think if I were to pick up another Stephen King book, it would not be this one. It would be more one of his classically known books. Also going to unhaul Mutual Interest by Olivia Wolfgang Smith, The Scarlet Throne by Amy Leo, and The Summer You Were Mine by Jill Francis. It looks like a really just like a cute summer romance. I haven't really been loving this type of a book, so I'm gonna release it out into the wild to someone who will probably enjoy this much more than I will. So those are the books I'm gonna unhaul. I'm gonna throw these into a tote bag and let's go outside. It's so hot, you guys. I need a pool. I genuinely need a pool. It's so hot. What the heck? First of all, I probably should have brought my mic because I'm outside and I forgot there's like wind and birds and cars and stuff outside, so I hope you can hear me. But I just finished this second book. Definitely miles better than the first book, okay? This is what I wanted this entire series to be. It's just kind of like silly fun. Overall, I'm still so annoyed at Belly. I think she's so selfish. I think she's the worst protagonist. I feel like this book is what people hate about love triangles, how it drags on and on and on. And the fact that she's just like destroying this family from the inside out just to like appease her teenage dreams. It's very selfish, but like, you know, it's probably a story I would have devoured as a younger reader, but I feel like I just can't get behind this anymore. And I should have expected it because I have watched the show, but I was just wondering if there were any differences in the book that would justify her actions a little bit more. But no, there's like, I feel like honestly the adaptations are better than the books in this case because we don't actually get much more in depth at all, if any. I feel like we honestly get more in depth in the show than in the book. I think there are things added in the show that add to your emotional experience and also add to the excitement of the entire story, but I do still have one more book to go, and this third book is actually one that I don't really know what happens with the plot because I haven't watched season 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty yet. So in terms of the overarching plot, I am caught up to what I know. So I am curious to see what happens in the third book. I've heard things online about like a wedding. I've heard things about a cheating trope. Both of those things infuriate me so much because how old is she? Like she was 16 when the series started, so in the third book she's 18. But I do have my third book here with me, so let's get her out this cute little purple one. Okay, let's see where this one goes. So the good thing is, there is a 2-year gap in the timeline between the beginning of this book and the end of the second book. So our characters are all now in college, and it's feeling like a little bit more mature, a little older, still a little young for me. But Jeremiah sucks. I'm no longer Team Jeremiah. Some of the decisions that these characters are making are insane. And I don't love when a character calls their love interest dude. I don't love it. But again, they're young. I know. I'm honestly like trying to overlook my issues and trying to just have a good time with this one, but I fear this one's a little bit too absurd for me. So far, the second one is still my favorite book out of the 3. I don't know. Let's keep going. This is a little ridiculous. Also, this is one of those series where like while you're reading it, you just think, how do these kids have so much freedom? Like, I guess now, like in this one, they're in college, so you get a little bit more freedom with that. But in the past 2 books, like the amount of time these kids just like spent on their own, like overnights in various places. I know like their parents are quite hands-off parents, but I just cannot imagine being a teenager with that much freedom. Like I was on lockdown as a teenager, okay? Mostly by choice. I was a competitive dancer, so I spent all my time just like training and dancing. How do these kids have so much free time? I'm gonna try my best to just like let go of my brain. And the thing is, I'm not hating the experience. Like, I am disliking a lot in the books, but I'm actually enjoying reading them in a way. Like I know my rating for these books is going to be quite low, but I'm having a fun time reading them. Like, they're just a little bit silly, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't want to read a masterpiece. Sometimes you want to read something that's just a little bit fun and silly, and that's what these books are for me right now. So I'm on page 92, so we have like 200 pages left in this universe, and then we'll be concluded in this series. Let's continue. I did it. I'm done. So, accomplishments for today. This last one, it was just so bizarre, the things that were happening. I just had to like release myself from reality and just kind of go with it. But this was definitely like the most unbelievable, like not believable plot. Like one of the most not believable plots that I've ever read, to be quite honest. Just like following these characters at such a young age, and then also like her mom just not doing anything really, like not doing much and just like letting it all happen. I'm also, after reading all of these, I'm still team Cameron. I'm still team none of the Fisher boys. But hey, you know what? I had a fun summer bookish day today. I read an entire fun summer YA romance trilogy, and now I'm prepared for season 3, which will come out tomorrow. I guess my overall conclusion is that this is definitely one of those stories that I prefer watching over reading. Overall, I would say book 1, maybe like a 2-star, book 2, maybe a 3-star, and book 3, maybe a 1-star. This one was wild. I am really curious to see how they do the show, because these kids are gonna look so bizarre. Like, in all of these scenarios. Anyways, I think I'm gonna leave you guys here for now. I hope you enjoyed this little fun summer bookish day with me. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and a comment. If you don't know what to comment down below, let me know if your team, what are the ship names called again? Team Jelly or Team, whatever the other one is, Team Conrad. Or if you're Team Cameron, like me. If you like me, subscribe, do that bell thing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!